Hey, all right, we've made it to week 3. All right, we've got our first big exam assignment. So that's going to be Monday, Monday, June the 10th. So exam 1 is going to be on chapters 1, 15, 19, and 2. Those are all the chapters that we covered in the first couple weeks of class. If you haven't used this yet, remember you can go to the Learning Materials tab to the left. If you'll click on that Unit 1 folder, that's where you found all the lecture videos and PowerPoints and all of that. But at the bottom of that folder, there's a study guide. So that's not a list of test questions or anything like that. It's just a guide to kind of help you work through all of those chapters and make sure you know what you need to be looking over before the test. All right, so take advantage of that if you haven't done that already. So it's going to be Monday, June 10th. It will be open at midnight. So as soon as Monday starts, all the way through 11:59 p.m. You've got 24 hours. Set aside some time to do this, especially if you can find some time where you know you're not going to be distracted. I know some people work weird shifts, so I've had students like get off of work at 2 a.m. and go ahead and take it then. Just make sure you set aside some time to do that and don't put it off too late. It's going to be 65 questions, so I've given you 65 minutes, minute per question. Don't let that time scare you. I've never had students who have not had enough time to finish the test. Honestly, probably 95% of the students get done in 20 minutes or less. So it's not going to take that long as you know the material. It should be pretty easy. Instead of like bubbling in on a Scantron, you just got to click and go to the next question. So just make sure you're prepared, and that's not going to be an issue. All right. Be careful with the instructions at the beginning of the test, especially with your environment video. Make sure everything is cleared away. You show your desk or table surface, quick 360 of your surroundings. All the stuff that we went over on the practice exam, make sure that you do that on this real exam, because this is a real 100-point test. So if you've got material out and you're using it during a test, that's a 0 on a real 100 points that you can't make up. Just, again, follow those instructions. That's not going to be an issue, but just make sure that you pay attention to those before you start the test. After you've got that out of the way on Monday, we have a lecture video on Chapter 3, which is on organic chemistry. I know we did chemistry earlier, but this is a little different. This is going to be looking at the type of chemicals and molecules that make up living things. So it's going to be a little different. It's less numbers and formulas. There's a little bit of that in there, but it's not as bad as the first chemistry that we did. Gearing kind of more towards biology now. Once you have watched that, you have a review quiz that's due on Friday the 14th. So same place you found the other review quizzes, go to the quizzes tab, and then you'll see Chapter 3 review quiz. All right. All right, new type of an assignment. We haven't done anything like this yet, but you've got a discussion board assignment. Every week that we have a test, I'm going to post a discussion board assignment. So what you'll do is go to the left where it says discussion board, click on discussion board 1, and there's a quick video you're going to watch about biodiversity. That's something that we talked about back in Chapter 1. So really interesting guy that's got some ties to Alabama. His name is E.O. Wilson, and he's a professor emeritus at Harvard, so really well respected in biology. I got a chance to hear him speak when I was in college, so super interesting guy. But one of the things he looks at is biodiversity, and he's going to explain it and kind of expand a little bit what we talked about in Chapter 1. So for this assignment, you're going to watch the video and then just find something you found interesting or something that related to what we talked about in class, and you're going to leave a post. You're going to say, hey, this is something we talked about in class, like explain how it's related or something along those lines. After you've left your post, you need to reply to at least one other student's post, and we're going to kind of get a discussion going. I know with an online class, you don't get to meet your other students in the class, but this is a chance where you can kind of interact a little bit. So that is due on the 14th, Friday the 14th also, 10 points, so it should be some easy points for you. Just make sure that you put some effort into it. Don't just go like, wow, that was a cool video and be done with it. Actually think about it a little bit. All right, and then after that, we have our second lab is due Sunday, so Sunday the 16th. Now, this one's a little different from the first one, the research and scientific method. You were just kind of writing stuff down on a computer and calculating some numbers. This one is an actual hands-on lab, chemistry lab, where you're going to be adding chemicals to test tubes, You're going to be testing for different substances. There's one step where you're going to have to boil some water and add the test tubes to the boiling water and pull it out and look for a color change. So this one's a lot more involved than the first one that we did, okay? Notice too that there's some things you're going to have to provide. Now you may have some of these. I'm looking at the list. It's things like distilled water, boiling water, just have some way to boil water, paper towels, dish soap, pen, pencil, Sharpie, spoon, fork. You probably have most of those. Cooking oil, some type of a vegetable oil. But there's some things you may have to go to the store to get. So let's see, egg, potato, 2% milk works good for this experiment. So just look over that list and do a quick grocery list, see what you've got, see what you may have to go out to the store to get. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it recommends 4 hours for this lab. If it were me, I would give myself a little more time just to be safe. Like maybe try to do this lab early in the week, Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. And that way, if you know you're missing something or you know it's going to take longer than you thought, you've still got a few days. If you wait until late Sunday, you might be kind of racing the clock to get this in time. All right. So that's it for this week. Let me know if you have any questions or if I can help with anything, and I will do it. Thanks.